Happy Saturday. Good to have some folks that put this on the calendar. Hey Cindy, hey Patricia, two of my favorite people, and I mean that with all sincerity. Somebody went to Nashville, it sounds like. I'd like to go to Nashville. I miss Nashville. I love Nashville and Memphis. Well, Memphis only because of Graceland. Anybody seen the new Elvis movie? No, I heard it was good. I don't know if it is. Last time I promoted an Elvis movie before seeing it, I got in trouble. Today's Elvis movies are not what they used to be from a profanity standpoint. I hope you're taking your berberine. Hello everybody, hello Panna. I'm an adventurer. I like, even if it's something that doesn't suit my taste to live there, I enjoy seeing different places, I'd like to see different cultures one day, but I haven't been across the pond. Have you been across the pond, Patricia?
We have a Viking Mediterranean cruise coming up in May. And then our church is going in October to Rome for walking the steps of Paul. So we'll have lessons at every stop there in Rome. So we're looking forward to that.
Well, I'll be enjoying that in spirit with you and for you. I've always wanted to go across the pond. I won a trip many years ago when I worked for Alpha Insurance, a trip to Ireland for a week. And my then wife, we got pregnant.
Oh, God.
And we didn't go.
Ireland's on my bucket list. I've only been to Dublin and Belfast for briefly, but I'd love to tour Ireland.
Going to Alaska. I've been to Alaska. I've been on an Alaskan cruise, loved it. I mostly enjoy the Caribbean and the Mexican Riviera. I've gotten to go to Hawaii, been blessed. Just no further. I've never been to the Eastern Hemisphere. So I would like to go visit one day my dear friends in the Philippines. I'd like to meet Sergey in person. Don't know if we'll ever get the chance, but Holland and Germany are worth the visit. I'd love to go to New Zealand. I don't know why that sticks to me, but I'd like to sit in the hot springs of Iceland, natural springs. Okay, I'll get started. We're delaying. It is Saturday. It is not Fatterday. Keep that in mind. You're working really hard. Taking care of your temple, super important. We're going to talk about a hodgepodge of things today. We're getting ready to finish a challenge. People that have stuck to it have done really well. When you can lose more than 7 pounds in a week, you've done something. So those that are new to this, we don't want you to have a false expectation of being able to lose 7, 8 pounds a week. You can get discouraged. Actually, the good fat loss is when the scales are moving in ounces and not pounds. When the scales are moving in pounds, you're just getting off excess glucose and water. It gets good after that. And that's when people give up. And they feel they're not doing as good because they had that expectation of hey, the first 2 or 3 days I lost 10 pounds. I should be losing 10 pounds every few days. It doesn't work that way. The good fat loss, those inches, they begin to fall off in week 2 and week 3, and it gets better and better as long as you're living the lifestyle. Hello, Panna. All right, we'll get started with our group. There was no text that went out. I'm still having to work on that. My previous vendor, when we could not do that a month ago, that was their way of raising my rates. They had grandfathered me in, and the cost of everything has went up. Right now, I'm having to learn programming. Never thought I'd be doing that, but I found a vendor that my vendor got their text from, where I can buy. It's much better. It's a blessing, really, to have found it if I can properly get it coded and integrated. So for those of you that heard me say one of our great members paid for 3 months of text for us, we still have earmarked those funds for those texts, but I've not yet finished the dashboard around it so that I can send those texts. So please keep these classes on your calendar. We need you. You can see class attendance is way down. And I think a lot of the success here is in the energy of the group. And we're going to work on some things next week to get the energy back in the group. I'm looking forward to doing those things for you, assuming there's no crazy stuff happening. How many of you really are excited about losing weight this year? Honestly, honest assessment, you're excited, or you want to be excited, and you're not. You're really excited. You feel it, number one. Number 2 would be, I know I need to be, but I'm just not, but I'm here. Which one are you? Good. So if you get to your goal, if you become, and many of you are already at goal, but you're looking at becoming more fit, being able to experience this life more fully, you got tired of the other experience, what are some of the things that is going to change on the journey, and then when you reach the goal? What's going to change for you? Really feel that, whatever that is, just feel that. More self-confidence. You can do everything better with confidence, right? It's even more attractive. Good things get drawn into our life when we have non-narcissistic confidence. Continue 0 after sunset. I like it. Just how I feel in any space. Just feels better, doesn't it? So every day, just try to feel that. Faith is the substance of things we hope for. Panel, you and I, we hope to reach a goal or 2 or 3 this year. That's the substance that we're hoping for. The faith is the evidence not seen. That means there's evidence that people can't see that is happening. And that evidence is how you feel. From the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. One person can look at problems and not see problems. They see opportunities. Another person can see opportunities and define it as a problem. So much of this is our mindset. And it takes someone like you and I who've done it the wrong, not Panna, I'm hypothetical, and it takes someone like me and you who's done it wrong to know what doesn't work so we can start doing it right. And it's our thoughts, our thought processes. It's how you think. So much of the success that you and I are going to have is going to happen first between our ears. in the mind. I was reading a thing, and I know I bring bad news sometimes, but I was reading a thing about all these different GLP-1s, and I'm not harping on that. I'm just pointing out that has brought a lot of hopium into the weight loss arena. But what they're discovering after now that they've got enough time with people using those shots, is it helping or hurting overall? It's hurting. Talked to a lady yesterday, and she said, I'm ready to do things the right way. We look for shortcuts, and the shortcuts are usually the longest road home. Think about that. When we take shortcuts, it's usually the longest way forward. But if we do things the right way, it's actually faster because you don't have as many missteps. You don't have to start over as many times. But you have got, with everything in your being, to make your lifestyle about faith, nutrition, understanding it and applying it, exercise, and supplementation. And almost, well, not almost, but in that order. Have you done that? Is there an area? So just curious before we really get in swing here. We have to identify the things we can improve on. Can't be willy-nilly about it. Those 4 areas: faith, nutrition, education, and application. Exercise, starting with walking. Supplementation, taking your supplements. Out of those 4 areas, do me a favor if you're not driving, rank them. Which area do you need the most help with in reverse? So let's say that you're not praying and studying the Word. Then that would be the first one, the faith area you're struggling with. Maybe you know how to eat, but you never apply the education. Maybe that's the one you're the weakest in. List that first. What area do you need to work on the most? The walking, the supplements? Which area do you need to work on the most? That's right, Barbara, I agree. Which area do you need to work on the most right now? And it's ever changing. About the time you get one plate spinning in the right way, what happens? You go to the next one. This one starts wobbling over here. Exercise and walking. Think about if you change that, if you start doing that an hour a day, you're going to feel better, but you're also burning an extra 400 calories per hour. Bible study, that makes a huge difference. Faith, exercising faith. Patricia says faith, consistently, daily in the Word. Pam says understanding supplements. I don't feel like I'm doing it correctly. This is a good class to bring those things up, whatever you're struggling with. Faith and eating. Faith and eating. Well, keep it simple. It's not that difficult. It's our mind's processing that it is difficult that makes it difficult. It's really not that difficult. If let's say that my way of exercising my faith is time with God upon rising and at bedtime, just do it. You always feel better after you do it. For me, I'm not good at prioritizing things. If I try to put it off to the middle of the day, something always happens. And then it seems like I'm tired at night. But that's kind of my DMO. Though the faith part, the spiritual pursuit, exercising my time with God every day, first thing upon rising, it's not getting it out of the way. It's just, this is important And no matter what else happens, because I did this, I've had a successful day. Or before bed, it's just part of your nightstand rules. I call them my nightstand rules. I have the Bible laying there to remind myself, before you go to sleep, read that chapter. By having that rule for myself, I may or may not get much out of it because I'm regimented reading that one chapter as a minimum, but sometimes I find myself continuing to read and moving around in my Thompson Chain Bible. You just never know where the Lord's going to take the effort. The nutrition part, that's got to be the hardest for most, the application of that. But you have a simple plan. Don't overthink it. And start with simple meal ideas and simple meal replacements until you learn more. And just agree with yourself, you are not going to consume more than 3 eating episodes per day. You're just not going to do that. Don't want to do that. And then do it. If you get hungry at night and you've already had your 3 eating episodes, nothing bad can come of that. Either tomorrow you get to eat again, or you wind up in heaven. There's nothing bad that can come out of that. You will get another meal. You don't have to have it all in one day. So 3 eating episodes or less. Once you get in the habit, it's really hard to go back. Exercise. Walking is my favorite time of the day, and we're getting warmer weather. Getting out there and getting after it. Being with yourself and with nature and with the Lord, listening to a favorite audiobook or some great music to get you in a state of mind. If you don't dread it, it goes by really fast. Just, if you dread it, it'll go by slow, won't it, Cindy? If you dread it, it goes by slow. But it goes by so fast and it's so enjoyable when you get wrapped up and lost in your walk time. It'll happen like that. And then supplements I can make that simple for you and make it budget friendly. You don't have to do peak performance. I wished you would. The only pushback I get on peak is the expense of it. I don't find it expensive. It's the core of my nutritional program because I cannot get in the nutrition that I need and keep my calories low without it. So you could also do Vitality, which is an inexpensive multivitamin, gives you the basics, but then collagen and berberine. You do those every day. It's just consistency. Be consistent. You cannot do those things and not be successful, and successful very, very fast. Can't do it. So before I get on the whiteboard back here, and we do something that we haven't done in forever. Are there any questions? Any questions from me, supplement-wise? Hint, hint. Anything that you have questions about as I sip this spark? Good job, Nancy. Not hungry the rest of the day. The only other thing I had was Coca-Ringa. You had a great fat loss day there. Any questions or comments? Something that hasn't been getting answered that you need answered. Also, if there's topics that you would like to see come up sooner rather than later in the coming weeks, let me know. What areas you're struggling with. I try to accommodate those that bring up a good topic that we can go over. Okay. Haven't done this in a while, and it may just be a good little review for you. It may spark something in you. I don't know. But I'm going to start a little today on the basics, okay? The basics. Yeah, we have the challenges, and the challenges, they're diets. The challenge that we're doing right now, where people are losing so much weight, it is a diet. the first three letters of the word diet spell diet. Let me do this. This might help somebody on the World Wide Web, since this is a basic one. Maybe that worked, maybe it didn't. But anyway, Melba says fuzzy math. I like fuzzy math. Fuzzy math's fine. I love that we can learn more about the math, but we don't even need it because we got the shield. The real thing that we have to do is first define who we are. Most of the challenges I've had in my life have been because, whether I knew it or not, my I am statements going on in my mind and my heart. And when I started the journey, really, I guess I started at 15 years of age, because that's when I went on my first blood pressure medicine, and I had a bad relationship with myself and with food at 15. I went on blood pressure medicine. I would stay on those medicines for 15 more years. Doctor told me I would never come off those medicines. Rather than just the relationship with food, suffering from that, I suffered with the relationship with myself. Again, kids are mean in school. We used to play shirts and skins basketball. They used to do that. I don't know if they do that anymore, but boys would take their shirts off and be on the, I always got picked for the skins team, and I'd get made fun of. And those kind of things messed with my inner identity. Here's kind of what life has taught me. I like this statement. I don't know if you will or not. Confidence is important, but not a false confidence. Wisdom says I am nothing. Wisdom teaches me, after 55 years on this planet, wisdom teaches me I am nothing. Love teaches me that I am everything. Meaning, if I am love, if I am everything, I love myself, I take care of everybody around me that I can take care of to the best of my ability. I would never hurt Patricia purposely, not on purpose, because she is me and I am her. We are brother and sister. But at the same time, wisdom teaches me I'm nothing. Who am I? Who am I to stand up here and try to teach, to try to help anybody? It's when we get stuck between those two, wisdom and love, that I think the problem comes in. And we start saying, I'm fat, I am undisciplined. None of that's true. But we operate as if it is. Every day may be an exercise for you of getting your why right, but also who are you? When you start this lifestyle journey, you may have to rewrite that false identity. If you have talked to yourself wrongly, incorrectly for decades, you need not think you're going to start a new program and change your body, your life with ease. You have become this identity over a long period of time through your thoughts, which dictated your words, which dictated your behavior. Repetitious behavior yields a destiny. So you didn't get here by accident. It may have seemed that way, but it started and rooted in your identity, how you think about yourself, how you think about life and things. You got to first rewrite that. And for me, I've come up with the definition, rather than labeling myself, I am wisdom, meaning I am nothing. And I am love, which means I am everything. I'm nothing in between that. That's all man-made concoctions and identities that get me in trouble. When you believe yourself to be something, you will act on it, and it will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you're a person that looks for problems, you will find problems. If you go into this and you think this is a hardship and this is a problem, it will be a hardship and it will be a problem. But if you go into this thinking this is going to be a great adventure, I have finally figured it out, and now I know that there's not pain associated with changing my life, but great pleasure. See how the difference is? Then you get in a state of almost bliss doing something that most people think is very difficult. Then you got to have a why that's pain, pleasure. Your body operates off the pain, pleasure phenomenon. You will do all that you can to avoid things that you have defined as pain, and you will do all that you can to pursue things that you have deemed as pleasure. Now think about the consequences of that. We have attached pain to the word discipline, when discipline is pleasurable. Every one of us has gotten more pleasure out of being disciplined than not. But it's how we think about it. We've attached to French fries pleasure. No wonder we have a hard time stopping it. You are hardwired to avoid pain and pursue pleasure. That's the direction that you'll move. So before you get started, you may need to start this list of pain is French fries. Don't make friends with the enemy. How many times have you went in a restaurant, grandkids with you or whatever, and you go and you eat a Big Mac and fries or whatever, and then you leave and you go, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. I don't have discipline. I'm bad. You talk to yourself all wrong. Why did you make friends with McDonald's and the enemy of yourself? We're doing everything right the opposite of what we say we want. We're producing an opposite result of that we really say we want. Maybe you have to start a pain pleasure list, and you have to write down all those things that you've attached pleasure to, piece of cheesecake, whatever it is. You go back and you put those under the pain list because you want to avoid pain, but you got to believe those things cause pain. When we're only focused on the mouth pleasure of it, no wonder. Why not begin with the end in mind? All the pain that's caused you in your life will continue to cause you in your life. Think of it that way. And then pleasure, discipline. How great you feel with discipline. How much better you feel when you say no. You're at the Mexican restaurant and you get FOMO and you used to give in, but now you don't. And you're writing down, I'm so glad I'm able to say no and others aren't. That's a pleasure. You'll feel better about yourself. So you have to start here, or the nutrition stuff does no good. It just doesn't. The pharmaceuticals do no good. What I teach does no good. Whatever program you're on, no good until you go back and you redefine who you are in the Lord and why you're doing this. You'll get so far off the tracks without that. You're just a wandering spirit in the wilderness until you get that nailed down and really believe it and practice it. You got to practice that I am faithfully fit. I am faithful and I am fit. You got to practice it. You may not yet feel it. Well, faith it until you make it. We can start talking about this in class, and y'all don't always get to see the thread. Classes are a lot smaller these days, but back when we have lots of people coming, it never failed 2 or 3 people. Would you please move on? I came here to hear about nutrition. But then when you go check their results, they have no results. It doesn't matter if I've got the tool to lose weight if I don't use it. You are a simple being, but also a complex one. The mind is the you've read in the Bible about we see through a glass darkly. It's hard to see through the glass darkly, and that's how we see. We only see the hinder parts of God, the Bible says. There's a lot in that if you think about it. But we don't see clearly because of the mind. The mind is the dark glass. And until we get in control of the mind and get it to obeying the Spirit, it's a hard journey to pick up the tool and use it. Then you've got nutrition. I lost 44 pounds in my first 6 weeks. I had made a decision, more than the supplements, more than anything else, what gave me energy during that time was I was sold out. I picked up so much energy once I had a made up mind. There was no waffling in me anymore. Pardon the pun. There was no willy-nilliness. I had made a decision to do what I needed to do to lose the weight once and for all. And if I had to lick peanut butter off of drywall or chew my own arm off, that's what I was going to do. And that gave me so much energy because I had clarity. I was no longer straddling the fence and being lukewarm. As long as you're lukewarm, on a scale of 1 to 10, if your motivation is under, I'll be honest, I've always said 8. If it's under 10, you're going to struggle. You got too much coming at you, and it will defeat you. You'll have so much anxiety, so your energy levels will be so depleted because you're divided. Does that make sense? You're divided. You're a human being. I get in more trouble these days than ever before about my words I use. I don't know what's up with that. But human beings, so I say being. You have a spirit, you have a mind, and you have a body. And when they're at odds with each other, it is energy depleting. When you get all 3 of those parts of yourself agreeing and the Spirit leading, you pick up energy. You got to have the energy to make change. Think about a rocket ship. Most of the energy that it utilizes is just the launch. And then when it gets up there, it can easily orbit around, and it doesn't require much energy once it's outside of our atmosphere. If you want to pick up energy, you've got to first get out of the mental atmosphere that you've been in for so long, and that's going to take a massive effort. And you need the energy to do that. You cannot be divided. And it's harder today than ever because you have so many voices around you. Do y'all ever feel like the voices around you through social media and people, and do you ever feel like just frustrated with that, like it's energy depleting, and everybody's there's 1,000 different approaches to whatever now, and your approach is wrong and this approach is right, and it's just endless, ceaseless banter. Have y'all ever felt that way? Like, it's driving me crazy. It's driving me crazy. I don't know what to do. It's driving me crazy. Does it sound like a Bible story where the little guy was casting himself in the fire over and over? I think that was the one, but they said, "Who is this devil in you?" And it says, "Legion, for we are many." Cindy, it's never been like this in my lifetime. There's always been the darkness that you're up against, but not as much of it and such a variety of it. So if you're going to combat that and overcome that, you've got to get single-eyed. You've got to put the blinders on. You've got to get focused, and you've got to cancel out the noise. You know this stuff works. How do you know truth when you hear it? I can tell you that this new shot is coming out, and you will drop 2 pounds a day, and you can eat however you want. You know that that's not true. But because of the hopium and the shortcut mentality, you'll go, "I'll try it." Am I right or wrong? It's like getting rich quick. People think they can get rich quick. No, don't happen unless somebody got a lot of money above you and dies and leaves it to you. It's not happening. That doesn't exist. And we can waste a life. If you've got 100 pounds to lose, you can fix it in 6 months. What the heck? Why are you putting up with this? If you got 200 to lose, 18 months, done deal. Rather than suffer and suffer and suffer, when do you decide on a new experience? And this isn't hard as we're going to roll out. This is really easy. So I set out to make a decision rather than yo-yo diet anymore. I'm going to put the blinders on, focus on what I can't have, not on what I can't have. Let me learn nutrition and let me apply it. And we learned there are 4 macronutrients. There's protein, there's carbs, there's fat, and there's water. This is what the body has to have to be healthy and to exist. Yes, your body even needs carbs. You don't have to give it carbs because it can take anything else that you give it and turn it into carbs when the brain needs the carbs. If you're trying to lose weight, you're trying to lose body fat, you prioritize macronutrients this way and this way only. If anybody tells you different, you should avoid them like the plague. It amounts to this. The first thing that you need to lose fat is water. You must stay hydrated. It's inexpensive. It's healing. It is you. When you drink water, you're drinking you. You are 2/3 water. People says, I don't like water. Then you don't like yourself, because that's almost all you are. If we take the water out of you, you would fit in a handful of capsules. So we need our water. It's satisfying, it's satiating, it allows for all of the chemical reactions that need to take place in the body to go on. You probably need to be preemptive if you're going to be in a deep calorie deficit and fasting at all. You probably need to take a serving of electrolytes daily, though, because water will further flush out your electrolytes and can cause some misfires with your heart. So I take a serving of electrolytes or more than a serving every single day. And if you're using the right kind of beverage or powder, you can count that as your water. It's not a problem. If you're using a high quality electrolyte supplement, here we're just trying to get a half a gallon up to a gallon of water a day. If it were up to me, and this is how I had initial success teaching the program, if it were up to me, all that I would ever teach, Cindy, I wouldn't teach anything else. If all of a sudden I came into independent wealth and I did not have to maintain subscriptions to keep it going, my life would be focused on teaching the same thing every single day. That's all I would teach. I wouldn't teach any of the deep dive, any of the I wouldn't teach any of that. I would drill this in what we're doing today. Now I'd repackage it, but I would teach the same thing every single day until people threw up. Because it's this that we need to hear, not the other stuff. And I would teach it until, because about the third time people says, this is how I used to teach. It's all I would teach. About the third time they come to class after 2 months and they say, what's next? I'm tired of hearing the same thing. Then they would go, they would leave, but I've done my job. Because if I can teach Panda this backwards and forwards, I've done my job. She knows more than 99.9% of the population about foundational nutrition. The rest of it can be holidays. Doesn't matter to me. The bulletproof shield outperforms any pharmaceutical, any advanced information. Back to this. Drink your water, half a gallon to a gallon of water a day. You're trying to lose weight. The next priority is protein, and it needs to be good sources of protein. Clean, wild caught, organic, free roaming. Stay away from synthetic meats and synthetic, and more of it's coming. More of it's coming. You have to have protein because it has essential and non-essential amino acids. There's no life on planet Earth that does not require amino acids. How is liquid IV? I don't know much about that one. I'll leave that one to you. If it claims to be an electrolyte product and it's zero calories or maybe 10, 15 calories or something, go for it. Electrolytes are pretty electrolytish. With vitamins and supplements, the sourcing matters. With electrolytes, you're usually okay if you enjoy that. I use Bravenly and Melaleuca. Okay, back to this. So protein has essential, non-essential amino acids, the building blocks of our life. Yeah, we do deep dive and we talk about the individual amino acids and what they're good for, and that may fascinate us. But at the end of the day, give me a piece of fish that isn't farm raised. At the end of the day, give me some lean ground beef that's grass fed. At the end of the day, give me some organic eggs. At the end of the day, give me some low fat cottage cheese. Good quality protein sources are the body has the least ability to convert those to fat or glucose. You need it to preserve your metabolism, muscle, and organ strength and health. Next, if I'm in a weight loss mode, is quality fats. Quality fats. Medium chain triglycerides and quality long chain triglycerides. Fat is not bad for you unless you overeat it. It's more than twice as dense in calories per weight. So we must be careful with the amount that we ingest. You also need to avoid seed oils and trans fats. They're really bad for you. You can even take a good fat and expose it to too high a temperature, and you turn it into a bad fat that's very harmful for your health. Cooking your foods, your oils that you cook with, cooking them at the right temperature is super important. As soon as you get to it, and how do you know? MCT oil, it's heat stable. If you go beyond 335 degrees, it's going to turn into smoke. It's not going to let its integrity be impeded or violated. Olive oil has a high smoke point, therefore it can be exposed to too high temperatures for its structure. So you take olive oil and you heat it to the wrong temperature, you just did immense damage to your cells if you do that consistently. A one-off is not going to hurt. Your body's able to deal with that. But if you're doing it daily, having vegetable oils or olive oils or whatever, remember last week we went over the oil list? It's best at home to cook in MCT oil or ghee butter. If you need something more budget friendly, more accessible, coconut oil. Hemp oil is good, but it's hard to find. But MCT oil at home. If I'm in maintenance, I'll use more ghee than MCT because I like how it makes me feel. The fat is in a form of fat that's easily stored as fat. Your body has to go through no complex evolution of that fat. It's already there. It's in the form of fat. And whatever you don't use during that, right after that meal, during and right after, it will be stored as fat. And if you've provoked an insulin response, it's even more efficiently stored as fat. So we have to watch our portions with our shield, and then we're fine. One of the things about eating bad fats and seed oils, we do very negative harm to our body if we don't pair those bad fats with carbohydrate. That's why we have the restaurant rules. at a restaurant, it's not just about fat loss. It's about not doing your body any harm. You go to a restaurant not for nourishment. You're going to enjoy it. It's our lifestyle. It's our culture. But they're cooking in seed oils. And they're exposed to high temperature. It's terrible for you. So to offset some of the harm that those fats do, avoid carbohydrate if it's a perfect day. If you're having a holiday, enjoy that. Enjoy that. How many times have you had what we call a holiday, and because you slipped up, you say, I can't do this, and give up? Holidays you should have. They're enjoyable. Just don't have too many. Have enough discipline to see each day as a new day. I look at life this way these days, or I try to. When I get up in the morning, that was my birth. Yesterday doesn't matter. I've screwed up life so bad. If I thought on yesterday, I'd be of all people most depressed. But what I find is I have a lot of joy when I approach life biblically. Yesterday doesn't matter. Tomorrow may never come. If I woke up this morning, I was born. And when I go to sleep tonight, I die. This is my life today. And if I mess up at the restaurant, have too many chips, it was just one day. Get back in the saddle if you're given the next day. You got to get back in the saddle quicker. And I know that you hear the truth. I'm not telling you any new thing. I'm trying to stir up that is already inside of you. You've got it inside of you. You can do this. You don't need the world's fixes. We're looking for shortcuts. I'm stepping out again. We're looking for shortcuts, looking for love in all the wrong places. Panda, you remember that song? Urban Cowboy. Looking for love in all the wrong places. That's what we're doing. We don't need any of the world's help. We need God's help. Remember when David said that King Saul tried to put armor on him? Here's a GLP-1 shot, David. Here's this, David. David said, I haven't proved this armor. Get this off of me. I didn't have this armor when I killed the bear, when I killed the lion. I don't need it. I've got God's protection. I've got a shield of faith. That's what he was saying. So that's why we have a bulletproof shield. And if you'll quit chasing the shortcuts that the world has, you haven't proved. How many of you have proved this program works in the past to yourself? You killed the bear, right, Patricia? You killed the lion. You got you got your smooth stones in your shepherd's pouch. Why do we keep looking for other stuff? Because we want excitement. We want newness. That'll get you in trouble. You'll have more excitement and more adventure if you do this boring thing we're talking about. I don't think it's boring, but let's say that you do. Well, gosh, if all you're going to do is teach the same thing every time, I might need to listen, Lord. I think I'm listening. We might have a lot more weight loss and fat loss if we quit catering to everybody wants something new all the time and we stick to the fundamentals. And you hear it until it's a part of you. Back to it. Carbohydrate, you can have them. I promise I don't make it up. I talked to somebody yesterday and she said, this is just a low carb program, right? Wrong. You can have potatoes, you can have corn. I had some of the best before we started the challenge. I made me some ears of corn, and it was that Mexican street corn. I made up the sauce and everything to put on it and put my red pepper flakes on it. Oh my goodness. I can have corn. I just can't have it by itself. And I can optimize it by having it in the right zone, the right time of the day when my metabolism's high. Chicken breast, corn, green beans. Perfect. Nothing I can't have. You can have carbohydrate on this program, but when we combine these two together, slow digesting fats. Is MCT a slow digesting fat? It isn't. It's a fast digesting. So I can have it with carbs. But when I have slow digesting fats, vegetable oil, olive oil, grapeseed oil, When I have slow digesting fats coupled with fast digesting carbs, grains, white bread, white rice, white pasta, when I have those two together, there's no hope of me making progress in that day. Can't do it. Not going to happen. You're spiking insulin, fat storage hormone. You got fat hanging out, you store it. It's that simple. Once I'm in maintenance, I can requalify these and I can have more carbohydrate unless I go above my threshold. When Patricia and I go above a certain line, we drop it like it's hot. We're not going to get back to the place we used to be in. If we pass that line, we act like we got 50 pounds to lose again. If I go up 10 pounds over my ideal weight, I drop it like it's hot and I reprioritize. But when I'm in maintenance, I enjoy my carbohydrate, just not by themselves. What we have to do is have a system that identifies where these foods go, protein, carbs, and fat, so that we can combine them the right way with ease and simplicity. So when I came up with the program, I had 6 categories. We have 7 now. But we had lean protein. Category 1 was lean protein. Category 2 was fibrous carb. Category 3 was complex carb. Category 4 was protein plus fat. Category 5 was fruit. Category 6 was superfoods. And the new one was shellfish. Shellfish works the same as lean protein. But some people are allergic to it or have religious aversion to eating it, so we separated it so people don't go, I can't have that category 1, because it's got shrimp in it. You don't have to have shrimp. Then we got condiments, meal replacements, and snacks. This is not a hard program to learn. It looks like a lot, but it will happen by osmosis with coming to class and journaling and watching the fruit of your labor. When you start being successful, you get more invested in wanting to learn it. So, lean protein. I have to learn to identify the foods that are best for me, that help me promote fat loss the best, that have the most nutrition with the least number of calories per weight. That's lean protein. What are some examples of lean protein? Is it hard? Let's find out. Because if it's everything on that list you don't like, it'd be hard, wouldn't it? But watch what pops out. Chicken breast. If you like chicken breast, we've got it made. Fish, you like fish? You like egg whites? So I've got chicken breast, I've got fish, I've got egg whites, I've got low-fat cottage cheese, I've got Greek plain yogurt, I've got Kroger Carbmaster milk, I've got 96% lean ground meat, I've got Boar's Head London broil. I can go all day. 97% Hebrew Franks, Hebrew National. Once I can just identify where the food goes, that's half of my plate. Tavern ham, I love Boar's Head Tavern ham. It's a category 1. Then I learned to identify fibrous carbs, all greens. All greens, and almost anything that is green will go there, bell pepper. But you also have some color there. You have squash, you have colored peppers, but most all green plants go in category 2. They're full of fiber. When I say fiber, other than helping you go to the bathroom and promote regularity, what does fiber do very well? Neutralizes something. Fibrous carbs don't really provide much energy like a carb does. It's just I would prefer to just call it fiber. It neutralizes the fat bus. They're not telling y'all that. Every once in a while, I'll get some hope because somebody will talk about insulin out in the marketplace that has a bigger voice than mine. They don't talk about it enough. The fat bus. If you have runaway levels of insulin, you cannot lose fat. You can have water weight swings, but you cannot lose fat. Not possible. You have to neutralize the insulin levels. And here's another thing that people don't understand. So I'm living my life. Let me come over here. I'm living my life. Here's my weekly calendar, right? I'm living my life. I'm doing the program planning. I've done all this and I get excited on Monday. I'm super excited and I have perfect days all week except for Saturday. I had a holiday. Sunday I got back on. Monday I'm on. Getting back in EFB on Tuesday. I'm really nailing it. Now I'm down 23 pounds in a month or whatever. Complacency strikes. And you have that handful of Pringles chips. You look at your continuous glucose monitor and your blood sugar only goes up a little. You're feeling good about that. Your blood sugar came right back down, so you think you're getting away with it. You're not. You work so hard to get your insulin levels low so that you can efficiently burn fat while in a calorie deficit. But here's a day where I'm not going to take it that serious. If I have one Pringle, I'm not going to count that as a holiday. But you get just a little bump. Just a little bump of insulin. Not too much. You can still burn some fat with that little bump. But insulin comes down slow and you don't have a monitor for that. You're thinking that insulin came down as fast as the blood sugar. It doesn't. It hangs out for 24 to 48 hours at the level that you bumped it to. Now, it was only a little bump, but the next day, it hasn't reset totally, and you have another handful of Pringles. You got just a little bump, not a big bump. You look at the scales, and it doesn't seem to be affecting anything. So the next day, you have 5 Hershey Kisses, and you get another little bump. Do you see what's happening there? And a week later, you're getting away with it, but then the next week, it's like you're not getting away with it. What happened? It's because you've bumped insulin up a little, never let it have time to reset, and now you're back dealing with the same situation. You have, and I know we haven't gotten to it yet, but you have to have the mentality that your Monday, you either had a perfect day with no deviation or you didn't. If you ever, those of you, most everybody here has had some success with the program today. I'm warning you from experience, tens of thousands of people and my own. If you start having so-so days, almost perfect days, you're going to be right back in the same mess. Your moderation, you must view moderation different now. Oh, this is good. This is good. You must view moderation different than you used to. Moderation to most people, moderation means the following. It means it's Monday and I mostly ate right. I ate balanced and I ate right. I had a couple of things that weren't perfect, but my calories were good. That's moderation. That's not our form of moderation here. That is not how the body works. You have to have the daily reset to get those insulin levels back under control, or you're in a growth mode. We have a perfect day or a holiday. If you so much as lick the cheese dust off a Dorito, call that a holiday. The fat bus is on the scene. How many days does it take to get back into EFB after that? Does it really take 2? It doesn't, but in certain situations it can. So since we don't have insulin monitors, we go with worst case so that we can know when we're in EFB. I just love that. Is 6 holidays a month enough to eat what you want if you're trying to get your life back? And is 12 enough in maintenance? See, that's moderation, our style. Today, for me, it's either going to be a perfect day or a holiday. There is no in between. That gives me energy. I have a rule set that I have surrendered to willfully. But if you start playing around with insulin again, because you don't want to mark in your journal you had a holiday over a handful of Doritos, you won't have a problem tomorrow, Cindy. You won't even have a problem in a week. You've built your metabolism back so well. But you will have a problem in 2 or 3 weeks. And you'll be right back in the same boat. All that hard work gone. Redefine what moderate behavior is for you. People will tell you you've gotten obsessed. If people aren't telling you that you've gotten obsessed, you're doing something wrong. Sorry, it's just how it is. And let me tell you, it's not you that are obsessed. You look obsessed to the real obsessed person. They're obsessed. They on 3 or 4 medications and still eating so much you'd make a table full of Vikings sick. It would be so much food. But they're calling you obsessed. And they're dying and still doing it. To me, that sounds like obsession. So if the obsessed aren't calling you, who's normal, obsessed, you're probably doing something wrong. All right, back to this. So we've got our greens, we've got our pepper. We've also got breads. We can't eat regular bread on this program. We shouldn't do that except for a holiday. But if I want a sandwich or a burger, when I was writing the program, I thought, I know that I won't give up my hamburger and hot dog. And I don't want just a weenie. I want a hot dog sometime. Well, we just go find breads that don't spike blood sugar. It's better today than ever before. When I started, I had 1 bread and 1 tortilla. Now there's endless. That Sara Lee keto bread has got like 1 carb in it. Perfect. Tastes like bread. So I've got my breads, I've got my greens, I've got my plant-based vegetables. Then I've got complex carbs. Corn, tater, long grain brown rice, tomatoes, tons of complex carb variety. What we need to put over here in the margin about carbs is portion. Portion is much more important with carbs than it is the other items on the list, because if you overeat carbs, your body is going to convert it to fat and store it. And if you overeat carbs, you're getting a lot of fat bus. So in the weight loss phase for your carbohydrate, it's a 1/4 cup. That's 12 teaspoons. It fits on our portion plate so you don't have to measure. It should fit in a quadrant of your plate. That's half of 1 hand. That doesn't sound like much. Well, if that's all you were eating, it's not. But if you put that 1/4 cup, 12 teaspoons, 12 bites on a plate with chicken and green beans, that's a lot of food. Once you get in maintenance, you could pile it up on your portion plate a little higher and have up to a 1/2 cup. But be careful with eating carbohydrate, category 3. Be careful with eating them after 4 p.m. Please. Your body, we're learning that in the challenge, I hope. Your metabolic threshold is lower closer to sunset and after sunset. If we're having carbs after 4, even if combined right, we're not going to produce as good of a result with our weight. And whatever you do, try to avoid carbs at night. I won't get to show it to you. It didn't sync for some reason, but I was going to show you my last popcorn episode on my continuous glucose monitor. Just popcorn, which is a good snack on the program. Because I did it in a fasted state, it elevated my blood sugar by 40 nanograms per deciliter, even an approved snack. You got to be careful with eating late and eating on an empty eating carbs on an empty stomach. We should actually never eat carbohydrate on an empty stomach. So you've got and here's another big thing. I heard Kennedy say this. Wrong. Who am I to tell them they're wrong? They're wrong. They're saying it's better if you want to slow down blood sugar elevation. It's better to have carbs with fat because fat will slow down blood sugar elevation. That's true. Protein and fiber slow it down more. Adding fat will slow down some of the blood sugar elevation, but here's the problem. It doesn't slow it down enough to not provoke a fat bus. And the fat bus stores what? See you, Melissa. Stores fat. So if I put butter on my corn and then eat it, yeah, it slowed down the blood sugar rise, but not enough that I didn't get the fat storage hormone. I just loaded up the fat bus with the fat lipids before I even eat it. Not smart, but that's what they're out there teaching right now. Back to protein plus fats. Mom and Dad, after church, last church service, they took me and my son to Longhorns. I got a sirloin steak and broccoli and butter. Did I do anything wrong? No, I controlled the portion. That works, right? What if I order shrimp as a category 7? What if I order the shrimp appetizer that's fried? Is that a problem? That's a problem. That's a holiday. That's not a short bus there. That's a Greyhound, a double or triple decker Greyhound. So be careful, because then when you eat the steak after the fried shrimp appetizer, you're going to store the fat that you wouldn't have stored. See these little pivots that we make? Yeah, but the shrimp that everybody's eating would taste so good, right? But if you put the blinders on and focus on what you can have, not on what others are having, you'll enjoy that. All right, almost done. So we got superfoods contain all of the macros, protein, carbs, and fat. Most of them do. Avocado, pintos, black beans, red beans, nuts, seeds, peanut butter. You can actually live off these if you don't have reactions to the nuts or seeds. Fantastic group of foods that can be had with other categories of food. Just be careful with the amount of calories in them. Could I do this with a superfood? Could I have some pork tenderloin, half of an avocado, and some pinto beans on a portion plate? Yeah. That's all a good combination. It all works, and I'm portion controlling it. Superfoods are really good for you if you don't overeat them. Then shellfish is just as good as the lean proteins. Exercise on a plate. So if I go to Longhorns and I get broccoli and sirloin and I say, bring me 4 grilled shrimp on the side, can I do that? Yeah. Try to take something home with you to spare some calories. The blinders. Thinking about the result. When other people are eating around you, and you get FOMO, remind yourself, because you're FOMOing into their enjoyment of that meal, right? And you start thinking about how you enjoy it. But what you're not choosing and intentionally thinking is, how much better will I feel after this delicious food I can have when I'm out of here not watching them chow down on that stuff I can't have? You got to begin with the end in mind. It's never worth it. Weight Watchers had that phrase many years ago, thin feels better than anything tastes. I so agree. It is just not worth it, especially when you can have delicious food yourself. You just can't have their food. And again, I'm not trying to be critical. You put two animals together, and this animal's getting this over here, and this animal's getting something over here. Even if theirs is better, they want what they ain't got. It's just part of it. But you have to overcome that with your spirit. So shellfish, shrimp, scallops, anything that's out of the sea, that's a shell, oysters, all of that. Then we got condiments, meal replacements, and snacks. I'm going to speed up since we're running out of time. We've already went over. Learning these categories, they're on the website. Learning these categories inside and out would take you less than a week if you really wanted to learn it. Then we just take, next time I teach on this, we'll talk Bulletproof Shield. Then you take the Bulletproof Shield and filter these foods through it. Drink your water, journal, put these combinations together right, which is easy to do, and in every restaurant it's easy. Control insulin through combinations. Eat 3 or less eating episodes off a portion plate. This will hold more food than your stomach in its natural state. And then get your fast in. A 12-hour fast is the minimal. We want more. But you quit eating at 8 p.m., you just can't eat again until 8 a.m. Well, what if I get hungry at 10 o'clock? You can have freebies if you must. And we just do that. It's successful day one. We feel great. Why not feel great tomorrow and do it again? It's a mind thing. I really believe, and I'm not going to do this to y'all. I love teaching on the advanced stuff too, but I love learning. We're going to keep doing that. But I'm telling you, we would touch and save a lot more lives in Jesus' name just by teaching Fast Track and ending the class telling everybody to watch the videos, take test, pass test, earn the badge. Get good enough that you could stand in front of a group and teach this program, your life would change forever. All right. Thank you, Pam. I appreciate it. Did y'all get anything today? I know it's a review, but I just believe in this. You know, that was the thing this morning. I was praying and I said, I don't have anything on my heart today. I know I need to teach on aminos. I need to teach on inflammation. It's not in my heart. And the Holy Spirit said, do you not remember when you start the first 3 or 4 years, you never taught anything but Fast Track. And you had more people doing the program and getting help than ever before. This works. And again, I know I didn't, if you're new or coming back, this is just an overview to put wind in your sails and to motivate you to watch those videos. They're short, very short. They take less than 2.5 hours to go through. You don't have to go through them at once. But I break this down in bite-sized pieces. And then when you come through that, take the little test and earn your Fast Track badge, and you've got a great foundational program that will never fail you. Thanks, Barbara. Thanks, Panna. Appreciate you. I agree. Twice a month. Minimal. Samantha, you can't find the test. If you're in the website, Lisa can point you to that. Lisa, if you don't mind, Samantha Jordan. Test is real easy. I hate even calling it a test. It's more to make you aware of deficiencies in your knowledge base. There's a lot of nuances that people miss out on by not being seriously interested in those videos that will optimize your going. I'm sure Panna's like Panna and Cindy are experts in this stuff, and I bet you they too are amazed at how many members they talk to that you can tell have never even went through Fast Track with sincerity. Anybody have any questions or comments before we go today? We'll talk about the results of our challenge, wrap it up on Monday, finish strong. Lots of tap outs in that easy challenge. I got to do a better job of inspiring and motivating, because you need this program. You need to feel better. Life is short. Feel better. Change your experience. Everybody good? Supplements that help. I've been getting a lot of questions about that. I need to do another class. I think I confused some people, but for me, if I'm wanting to boost my metabolic output and burn more fat, there are several beverages I drink, but I think you're talking about supplements. I do this stack. Has not failed me. Always works. Love how I feel. Berberine is most important, and Nutritherm. Or berberine and Thermoplus. Thermoplus is what I used when I started. The catalyst in it is oolong tea. Somebody that starts like I started and you do the Jumpstart kit, I also work with you on a personalized meal plan, exactly what I did to lose it, and then I connect with you on a daily basis except Sunday to help you get through the Jumpstart. So it's got all your thermogenics in it, your vitamins, your detox. We've had a few people lately we've done that with, and it's been very successful. Just reach out to me. Anybody else, questions, comments? Yeah, this was one of my favorite challenges because of the simplicity of it. I always get good results. I think I've lost almost 9 pounds. Anybody? Everybody good? We appreciate you. Please tell somebody about us. We can't keep doing it without your help, without as many people coming in as are going out. We appreciate those of you that actually live out the program. That is the best witness. Who feels like dismissing us? How do you reach me? Email travisjack777@gmail.com. One disclaimer, I have to limit the number of people that do that each week or I'll fail you. If I try to take on too many, about 10 people is my max that I can handle in that Jumpstart program. And then I begin to let people down. So really about 10 a week, and I've been running about 4 or 5 people a week. So I got a little room, just putting that out there. For people more wanting a one-on-one experience and want to really start the right way, the way I did 20 years ago. TravisJack777@gmail.com. What is the Jumpstart? It's an Advocare. I've been with Advocare 20 years. Rather than me charging a fee for the one-on-one, I prefer people do that because then they're investing in themselves in addition to just having a willing and wanting heart. Starts off with a 10-day reset and a meal plan specific to you. Then on day 11, we go to boosting the metabolism with certain nutrients, vital nutrients, including Thermoplus. It helps. I would suggest the average weight loss for that 24-day program, I'd rather say less than more. I'd say average weight loss for that, 15 to 20 pounds. Average, 24 days. Anybody else? Questions? We done? Everybody good? All right. We appreciate you. I'll close us out in prayer. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in the earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day, Lord, our daily bread, and forgive us of our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Thank you all. We appreciate you and love you so much. Bye. Have a great weekend.